Alright, hey everybody out there. My name's Ray, and this is my first vlog ever, so I'm losing my vlog virginity. Um, so my vlogs are mainly going to be about my life. My life right now is focused on the Navy, and I already have my ship out date and everything, so this first one will just be about my beginning process going to the Navy. I have a pimple. So, yeah. So, I graduated high school in 2012. It's 2014 right now. And one day, my senior year, my teacher was just like, tomorrow they're doing a MEPS. So, if you're thinking about going into the military or you just want to miss a day of class, just go and take the test. So, the next day, I just went, took the test, didn't really know what it was about. A lot of kids in my ROTC classes at school were in there mainly. So yeah. So I took it a few weeks later. They call you in, they go over your score, and then like that same week a recruiter came and got me out of class and he was like, you scored really good, you scored a 53, that's good, you should really go into the military. But my whole life I was like going to college, like that was my plan. So when I graduated I went to college. My first year was good. My second year was good, but I was homesick. So, and my school is 4.5 hours away from home. And that's not like far to a lot of people, but to me, like the drive, and then sometimes I didn't come home. Like sophomore year, I didn't come home on Thanksgiving because I decided to work, which was hard for me. So, I just decided to go to a college that was closer to home. So, yeah. So come summer 2014 and the classes should start, I'm like, why isn't my financial aid working? Like, what's going on? So my new school, I had to fill out more paperwork. They didn't tell me until last minute, and my financial aid, like, did not happen. So I was like, I don't want to do anything with my life, so plan B. So I was like, let me go into the military. Like, they'll pay for college when I'm done. I'll still be doing stuff with my life. Like, I'll be making money. Like, good idea. And my dad and my stepdad and a bunch of my uncles are in the Navy. So then I was like, I'll be the first girl. Like, I'll do it. I can do it. So yeah. So I called my Uncle Derek, who isn't my real uncle, but I've known him my whole life. Him and my dad were stationed together. So yeah, so he went with me and talked to my recruiter. So my recruiter like asked me a whole bunch of questions. And then we get to tattoos. He's like, how many tattoos do you have? I'm like, 5. He's like, where are they? And I told him about the elephant on the back of my neck, and he was like, oh, you're disqualified. You can't go. And I'm like, what? You're kidding me. He's like, yeah. He's like, let me go and check though and see if there's new rules or whatever. So I'm like, all right. So he was like, if the uniform, he's like, new rules. If the uniform covers the tattoo, then you're good. So I'm like, all right. But there was like no girl in there at the moment. So like we didn't know. But he was like, until we figure out, just take the practice Asvab. And I'm like, all right. And then he's like, you've done 2 years of college. Like your score should go way higher than 53. I'm like, okay. So I take it. I'm looking at this math. Like, is this German? Like, is it Chinese? Like, this is not English. Like, I did not know what was going on in math. I see my score, it's a 41. I'm like, what? Then it kind of makes sense because at school, like, we had graphing calculators, and this is just basic math. Like, and it's just crazy because I just forgot all about it. So then I was kind of disappointed. He was like, well, just come back in 2 weeks, study. So, yeah. So then I was telling my cousin that I'm joining, and then she gave me this book that she had. The Kaplan Asvab. Yeah. And I studied that thing like crazy. Like on my spare time, any second that I had to myself, I was just studying. And I focused on the math. So I came back 2 weeks. I scored a 56. So I was turned. He was like, you got it. We'll set up a date. There was a girl recruiter. She gave me her jacket and it covered it. But when I stuck my neck down, like you can see it. So he sent a picture to the chief And the chief was like, I don't know, I'm gonna have to see her in public. I'm like, all right. So she set up a date for me to go. She was like, you're gonna take your Asvab this day and you're gonna see the chief to see if you can even go. She's like, well, I'm gonna make you see the chief first because there's no point in you taking your test. And then he says, no, you can't be in the Navy anyway. So I was like, all right, cool. So then we get there and I just signed in to take the Asvab. So after I see the chief, but they're like, you're not processed. I'm like, what? So my recruiter was like, I don't know why you're not processed. I processed you, but I'll just let you come another day. But since you're here, see the chief. So I'm waiting to see the chief. I'm nervous. Like my heart's beating. Like I can't breathe. I'm like, she's like, relax. I'm like, I can't relax. Like I need to do something. Like, so then finally he came and I wore a white button down tank top, but I had no white button down collared shirt, but I had a black tank top on under. So when he's like, take your shirt off so I can see you in the uniform, I just unbuttoned my white tank top because I'm buttoning my white collared shirt because I have on the black tank top under. And he's like, whoa, stripper. He's like, go in a different room and change. So I go in a different room and change. My recruiter's in there with me. She gives me her uniform jacket. She's like, button the top button. But I'm shaking. Like, I'm nervous. Like, I'm like, So then, what happens? Oh, so she buttons it up for me. Then I come out. He was like, are you ready, stripper? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. So he's looking at me. I'm holding my hair up. He's like, put your hair down. I put it down. Then he's like, looking at it. He's like, fixing it on me. He's like, you're good. I'm like, I'm good? I'm like, I was turned. I was so turned. I told my recruiter, I was like, I want to hug you at that moment, but I don't know if they hug in the Navy. So I was like, whatever. So yeah. So then his secretary was like, do you see her button is all wrong? And he was like, stupid. And I didn't even care if he called me stupid because I was excited. Like, I was turned. So then, like, the next week, it wasn't next week, it's like 2 days that I had to take my Asvab. So I take it, I'm taking it, I'm finished. Well, I thought I was finished. And, like, for the Navy, you have 2 extra sections. I'm like, let me back up. So while I'm taking it, right, the computer shut down. I'm like, oh, shoot, like, this can't be happening. Like, if I lose all my material, and I was really upset because I felt like really confident. So I was like, if I have to do this all over, like, I'm gonna break down. But then the guy's like, this just happened. It's cool. Your work is saved. He logged me back in. I started from where it shut down at. So then I'm like, I gotta pee. So then I pee. Then I come back. I finish my test. It's like 2 more parts for the Navy. So then I'm like, whatever. Like, I finish them. Then, like, I raise my hand. The guy's like, come here. Give me your envelope. When I walked out that room and looked at my envelope, it said a 78. I said, what? Like, I was so turned. A 78? So really, again, I want to verify. Like, get this Kaplan out of that. Because I went from a 41 to a 56 to a 78. Like, it's crazy. So, yeah. It was just ridiculous. Like, I was just turned. Like, I was just so turned. I called everybody. My mom and my granny and my sister was waiting for me when I got home. And it was like, how'd you do? And I was, like, tricking them. I came in the house looking all sad. And I held up my paper. I was like, a 78? They was like, what? My mom was so turned. So, yeah. Yeah. In the next video, I'll talk about my MEPS experience and what job I chose. All right.